Highlands Norwood.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker. A government policy identified by the Auditor General specifies, quote, that family members may not travel on government aircraft unless it is a minister's spouse invited to an event. A list in the current policy of those eligible to take government aircraft does not include family members. While we can all sympathize with working parents who try to balance work and family, it does not justify breaking the rules just because you can. To the Premier, why do you think that the rules don't apply to you?
Honourable Minister of Finance.
The policy as it relates to the government aircraft, number one, the first call on our aircraft is if we have an emergency. We had that last summer, Mr. Speaker, when we had to move cabinet ministers and environment ministers and the minister responsible for municipal affairs to the area of the flood. That was the first call. Second call on our planes, Mr. Speaker, is the Lieutenant Governor, because we want him to be in communities that are not served by commercial aircraft. We want him to be in places like High River. The third priority, Mr. Speaker, is the Premier. And when the Premier or any cabinet minister is asked to attend a function and they want to bring a family member, whether it's the spouse or others, we've said, let's keep the families involved in what they're doing, Mr. Speaker.
For a supplemental.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker. A little different than the answer that the Finance Minister gave yesterday. I have the list here. It doesn't say family members on the list. Most working mums, and dads too for that matter, would like to spend more time with their kids. But they're also very upset when this Premier uses the mum defence to justify taking a government plane to and from Palm Springs when a cheaper commercial flight was available. To the Premier, why didn't you take a commercial flight back from Palm Springs instead of ordering up a government aircraft at a cost of thousands of dollars?
Because there were no commercial flights available from Palm Springs on that day.
Honourable member.
Mr. Speaker, that is patently untrue. And I'm going to go on to another matter. Apparently, the Premier also had 2 security staff with her in Palm Springs. Albertans are wondering, why does the Premier need security while on vacation in Palm Springs? Is this standard practice? How much has been spent on vacation security since the election? Please fill us in, Premier.
Honourable Minister of Justice.
Much, Mr. Speaker. To this member's inquiry, it has always been the practice to provide any premier of this province with security, and the security is tailored towards their individual needs. With respect to specific comments, Mr. Speaker, we don't talk about matters of police investigations, court cases here, and similarly, neither should we talk about matters of individual security. That is something that is determined by the actual security officers, not politicians.